Welcome everyone back to another episode of the Urban Indigo Podcast. I am your host, Diana Min, with my awesome co-host.
It's your boy, the Wolf.
Omar Hamilton. I'm so excited to be back. We haven't been back in this space in maybe 2 years?
2 years.
Maybe a year and a half, something like that. I know. What's been going on?
Oh my gosh.
Literally, you know when you run into people and be like, oh my God, what's new? You're like, literally everything.
Everything.
I think that's where we're at right now. Everything is new.
100%.
The whole pandemic is new. It's a whole new life. It's a whole new life. So, I know we want to dive into so many different topics today, but I do want to get into what's been going on with you and your business.
Where can I start? Okay, first of all, the pandemic kind of put a lot of us into a great spiral of depression. I know that I'm going to keep it real. I've always told everyone's asked me, what you been up to? I'm like, I'm fighting depression. I mean, I know a lot of people are going through it, but more or less, during the pandemic, I can also say that I could credit it to my business actually growing.
Yeah.
So
why are you depressed if your business is growing?
Because it was like, you cut out the social life aspect of it. You kind of like, you miss everything. You got FOMO every other day. And then obviously you couldn't leave the house.
I was always in the streets.
Yeah,
though.
see, that's what I'm saying. I be running in the streets.
I was never in the streets, so it didn't really change nothing for me. I wasn't in the streets, so everything basically remained the same for me. Right. I was not depressed. I was actually thriving and happy and joyful. Probably the happiest I've ever been.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm happy about the business side of it.
Yeah.
For sure. Missed a lot of people, missed a lot of friends, missed a lot of family, but then the Zoom started getting popular, so that kind of settled me out, and then I got to focus on the business. So I'm going to be opening a studio soon.
Nice.
In El Cajon, yeah. And then I just been working. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've also am growing it to an extent of having other videographers and freelancers to work with me to grab bigger jobs.
Beautiful. I mean, I've been watching your growth, since day one, as far as the photography, the videography, and now you kind of getting into this producer role and just being more creative in your art form. And I mean, it's so beautiful. Like, he got too big for us that he left the podcast, and I was like, all right, I guess, and now I finally wrangled him back down for just one special comeback episode. Will he be here next time?
Every time
We don't know. We hope so, right? Because our energy, our dynamic, it's lit. It's what makes the Urban Indigo Podcast. I mean, everybody, if you guys this is your first episode of the Urban Indigo Podcast, why do I call myself the Urban Indigo? I'm from New York. I'm a real one. But I'm also a very spiritual, divine feminine leader. But also, why Omar fits so well within that umbrella is because he is also an urban indigo. You can see the tie-dye popping. You know what I mean? He's truly an urban indigo child, as a lot of us are, right? So we can't really be defined by, what a spiritual person is, because at the end of the day, we're all spiritual, right? Every single person walking this earth has the capacity to tap into their spirituality, and however it is that is manifested in the world, that's your own authentic expression, and we're here for that. So
I love it.
Yeah. For me, the business has been incredible. My coaching business has taken off so much that I wasn't able to show up for my podcast. So forgive me, guys, but I'm back now. It was really hard to balance. I had, once the pandemic really hit and people, were forced to go within, right? Like you were saying, like you went into a depression. A lot of people, I think, were really going inward and really realizing that, I don't like myself. It's
right.
I don't like who I am, right? I don't like who I am. Who am I without the identity of my job, of my social activities, of my friends? Like, who am I without all of these external things that define me? And so, people really sought out my services, my coaching, my help, my spiritual mentorship, to really go within and find those answers, that inner peace, that awareness, and doing the work of really becoming somebody somebody that they like and love, and creating
Yes.
a life that feels good on the inside. It doesn't
Yes.
just look good on the outside, right? And so
That's beautiful, because it's literally you kind of put it in words, what I was feeling. So like that depression was me feeling and acknowledging what I kind of put myself in, the place
yeah.
in life. And I was like, oh, a lot of bullshit. And I'm right here. That's why I'm right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like you had to face yourself, look in the reflection, and be like, okay, there ain't nobody else
Just me.
but me. And that's what I kept on, like, I kept posting this meme. I think it was like a Scooby-Doo character, like, and the evildoer is, or something like that.
Oh.
Like, and it's you.
Yeah.
Like,
Who was your
hey,
worst enemy?
you, yeah. I was
Yes.
like, okay, I hear you, universe. So that's what I meant with depression. I guess that was just an easy word to use.
Yeah.
When it comes to like that internal work.
The shadow
where
work.
you're just like, dang, man.
Yeah.
You know better.
But
But I'm glad we're here, you know, because it really kind of, it really refreshed my mind, my vision, and my purpose.
Yeah.
So I have more of a understanding of my trajectory.
Right. Clarity. Clarity creates
Beautiful,
channels,
right?
man. Clarity creates channels. What I got really clear on, and going through the journey of an entrepreneur, and you let me know if this was kind of something that you experienced as well, is really understanding that like our business, and we already knew this, go back to our last episode, we already talked about it. Our business is a reflection of us,
Right.
but really like how we operate in the business is a reflection of us too. So I want to dive deeper into this. So I've been really exploring, you know me, I'm from New York. I'm a little aggressive sometimes, right? And
It's
coming
fun.
from that hustle mentality, operating in my business, like it was like go, 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 move,
Right.
move, hustle,
Right.
hustle, push, like, and it got to a point like last summer where I literally didn't see anyone and I didn't do anything but work.
Mhm.
And like, I mean, I was loving it because, it's my passion, it's my purpose in this world to, be of service to people
Right.
and to be in this role where I can really support others through that journey. But like, I felt like I kind of burned out a little bit. I mean, a lot actually. Like I was so exhausted because I was operating from a very masculine energy in my business.
Right.
And it really, and just like having the goal, the motive being like, well, we got to make more money. We got to grow,
Right,
more,
right.
more. You know what I mean? And it
Yes.
was like, do you need more? Or is there the more coming from this need to, I don't know, like prove myself
Yes.
to myself? Like, I don't know where it was coming from. I went into an ayahuasca ceremony in June, actually. Was it June or July? I forget.
Mhm.
Actually, I'm lying. It was in October.
We keep it real around her.
Yeah, I sit pretty often. So I was in October and I had went in and I was like, I want more. I want more success. I want
Right.
more money. I want more growth. I want more everything.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like coming from a little bit of greed, right? A little bit of just, again, my toxic masculinity. And ayahuasca was straight up like, is this not enough for you? Is this
I
not
love that.
what I've given? Is this not enough for you? And I was like, oh my God, it's enough. I'm sorry. Like, I felt so ashamed of how, like, I have so much. Like, I'm so abundant. I have, I have an amazing flow of clients. I mean, I work from home. I have
Yes.
freedom of time. I can travel and work. I literally, like, I'm living my freaking dream life right now. And, to have the reflection be like, is this not enough for you? I'm like, damn, I'm an ungrateful little bitch. and really looking at like what that comes from. And I think it does come from like, the masculine energy of just like needing to acquire more and more
Right.
and more, and not like relaxing into like that feminine flow, which has been like a game changer for me. And I don't know if you're familiar with kind of what like feminine businesses, which is how I'm operating now and how I'm teaching all of my entrepreneurs how to operate in now, is just the flow of trusting, right? Of relaxing, of nourishment, of taking care of our first business, which is our mind, body, and spirit, right? You are your first business. And if you neglect your body, your mind, your spirit, like, you know, the things that sustain your business, which is you, the other parts of the business are going to start to also fall apart and also burn out along with you.
Yes.
And it was crazy because once I switched that mentality and I stopped trying to push so hard and you know, just release control and just be and coming back into this trust of like divine flow of just like, you know, when I'm supposed to do things, I will do them, and when new clients are going to come in, they'll come in, and whoever's meant to work with me is going to work with me, letting people go that weren't in alignment with me. And it just literally like it continued. Like I think I was operating from like this really stressful place of like, if I don't continue to build at this like exponential rate, everything is going to fall apart. Right? And it's like this fear, I think, coming from the lack and scarcity mindset that we've grown up in, that we're 100%. Used to, you know, that we're like, if you know, I'm the only one carrying it. I'm the only one, you know, it's all on me. If I don't do it, everything's going to fall apart. I'm going to lose my entire business. I'm going to go broke. Everything's like going to get destroyed. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's not true. And like once I really let go of control and I saw that like I wasn't going to go into financial ruin and my business wasn't going to fall apart if I just released control for a minute, and I saw that it was going to continues to automatically operate on its own, and I'm just like, oh, like all I have to focus on is taking care of my mind, body, and spirit. Also, yes, I show up for the business and I still do, you know, the things I need to do when I need to do them, but having that balance of like, you know what, I'm going to go on vacation, and I ended up, I think I told you, I went, you know, in January for my birthday to Tulum for 2 weeks, and I made the most amount of money when I wasn't working. Like I had my biggest month in January.
Like you.
I had my biggest month in January, and I only worked like maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks in January, and I was like,
she got the recipe, y'all.
Okay, so that's what it really is. And it's not like from a place of like, okay, I'm gonna not work but I'm still stressed. Right. And I'm doing it so that I can be abundant. I'm just gonna ignore it, right? It's not from like that place of like avoidance, but it's from an actual place of like, I truly, truly trust that I'm being taken care of, that the universe is here, has my back. It wants me to succeed. It wants me to thrive. And, you know, and my soulmate clients are on their way.
I love that, because it's like when you like you said, when you're trying so hard, it feels like it's just not going to come on the day that you want it to come on.
Expectations.
Yeah, and I feel like I was like, I need it by Thursday. I need it by Friday. And it didn't come, so it made me stress out even more. It made me go inward. It made me turn into an introvert. And then next thing you know, it came the day before when it was due, or when I needed it.
When your bills were due,
money. So it was funny. It was funny. It's like, it's as soon as you get it, all this relief leaves you, and you just go, oh my God, I should have knew the universe had me. Yeah. I should have knew.
Why was I even stressing?
But what? It's like a repetitive, it's a thing I do every like 6 months. You know, I work really hard. I push really hard. I get a lot of client work, and then I'm just burnt out.
That's that masculine.
Yeah.
That's that toxic masculinity.
So I understand what you're saying, because I feel like I've been, working from masculine energy for quite some time. Yeah. And when I went to do Wachuma, just recently, I learned how to respect both energies, feminine and masculine, and they could coincide in the same space. So now I feel like I'm starting to let things go, or not be worried about a client saying I can't afford you right now, and making me go back on my own word and dropping my price. Oh yeah. So I could have that word. Yes, exactly.
But where is that coming from? When somebody tells you, "Hey, I can't afford you," and you're like,
scarcity.
Let me drop my price so that I can grab onto this client that's not in alignment with me.
Right. And
lack and scarcity programming, that's deep. That shit is deep.
The hood done throw me up. No. It's just, and I wanted to ask you too, because I have seen a rise in using this term as toxic masculinity. And I don't know how I feel about it yet, because it sounds pinpoint.
Like bashing men.
Yeah. See, and I feel like obviously people are utilizing it in that way though.
Yeah.
That terminology is like almost like this is a whole the general men are really toxic, and I'm like, well, we all dealing with our things. You toxic too. The hell?
Getting all defensive and shit. So, I mean, would it surprise you that I also possess toxic masculinity?
See, now, I'm trying to, okay. So, toxic masculinity.
Can exist in men and women.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, it's crazy because I was actually in a relationship during the fall.
Mm-hmm.
With a man that I didn't realize possessed a lot of toxic masculinity traits.
Wow.
And realizing that I had attracted him into my life because I possess a lot of toxic masculine traits. And so I went into an Ayahuasca ceremony in December, and when she really showed me that like all the things that I hated about him, I actually possessed within myself. So I was egotistical with my time. And so, he was egotistical with his time. I also was. He was controlling. I was also controlling, right? He was demanding. I was also demanding, right? He was judgmental. I was also judgmental. And like realizing that I was doing the cat lady thing, like what the
yeah.
I'm like you, and it really needed to be reflected back to me. It's like, me too, right? And I was like, when I really saw it within myself, I was like, like it was gross,
right? It feels some type of way, right?
I was like, okay, man, like I guess I have a lot of things to work on because I clearly attracted a toxic masculine person into my life. And how am I operating from toxic masculinity? Well, the way I was operating in my business, like I was being very transactional, I was like, and it's from me being a New Yorker and me, operating in the corporate world. It's like, this is business. Let's go. Money, transaction, service, the end, right? When really I operate a feminine business that's very heart-centered. Like these are people. These are people's lives that I'm dealing with. These are people's souls that I'm working with. And it's not, just cut and dry. Like, hey, the minute our contract ends and like we're done, like you're dead to me. You know what I mean? Like it's not like that. And just me being egotistical with my time, as if like I wasn't able to give my time to people that have trusted me, invested in me, and just because our contract was up, like as if I couldn't still continue to be of service to them, like and Ayahuasca really told me, she's like, I've given you this gift, I've given you this opportunity, like go out and be of service, like be better, do better, and I was like, okay. What's crazy is I was called to reach out to all my old clients whose contracts had expired with me and just offer them like a free follow-up session. And it was this blew my mind, is that most of the clients, actually all of the clients that I reached out to have a follow-up session with, they all needed me at that time. Whether they were going through some traumatic situation, had experienced a death, were just like in need of my support. And so it was like, God actually coming in and being like, go be of feminine service and stop operating from this toxic masculinity where your only focus is whether or not you're getting paid. And it's not to say that we don't have an equal energy exchange, but when you're abundant and when I am abundant, you are able to be of service and be generous and be charitable with your time, knowing that just, money is not linear. Just because I'm giving out free love here doesn't mean that I need to get also that energy exchange from that same channel. If I'm giving out free love here, I'll be getting abundance in from this channel over here, because there's always balance in the universe. And when you come into that trust with the divine, you can operate from that feminine flow of loving, of caring, of nurturing, of warmth, of generosity, right? Of true heart-centered just business. And so once I really saw that, I really shifted my whole approach to how I was, really understanding that like the people that are being brought to me, it's a soul contract, right? It's not just business. It's not. It's like this is like I'm out here doing really divine work, and the only way that I'm gonna fail is if I continue to operate in that toxic masculinity. If I didn't come back into my feminine and being like, like I'm here to love people. And love upon them and do my best to support them. So
I feel that so much though, because I'm noticing a natural flow through me as soon as I stopped having that, now you say, now I know what it means, toxic masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand now, like wanting things done at a certain time, at a certain point, in a certain way is just not the way to go, because it causes more stress, anxiety, because you're not meeting your expectations.
Right.
Now I'm enjoying this feminine energy that I've been born with, that I've been gifted with.
Yes.
And I'm allowing myself to attract the money, the clients, the friendships, the love, the relationships, you know, and it's coming effortlessly. And now that it has, I'm understanding why it was so important for me to stop trying to be so manly and stop trying to control everything and just be in that feminine, that yin and yang, you know, the simple balance.
Yeah. Yeah. And what is the feminine? So I talk a lot about this with my clients. But, you know, I realize all of my clients, especially the ones that are women, are in their toxic masculinity. And, you know, when we really dig deeper into why, right? So the feminine has not felt safe to be in their feminine, right? Because I mean, look at society, the way that men have treated women. And, you know, if you go back to ancient times, like I was just, you know, at like the Mayan ruins out in Tulum, and they, you know, they were telling us that like the feminine used to be revered, you know, honored as a sacred vessel, as, you know, this channel to the divine. And like, you know, obviously when the Spaniards came and when European kind of like culture took over, and they made it more of like a patriarch rather than a matriarch, and women were kind of pushed down. And then obviously when you go all the way back when, like, you know, witches are being burned at the stake and all that stuff, these are divine women. And, you know, women have been pushed down, suppressed, oppressed, you know, being abused, raped, you know, all the things that have happened within, you know, these centuries of, you know, this very toxic masculine culture that has been, you know, just progressing for centuries. We really think about women don't feel safe to be in their feminine, because when we think of when the feminine is embodied in the womb, right? The womb is about nurturing, of receiving, right? Of creation and love, right? We receive you know, a child, we receive during sex, we create, you know, life, we're nurturing that womb. And then the man is embodied in the spine, which is stability, right? Strength, support. And then you know, the spine keeps the pelvic stable. Allows a feminine to feel safe to be in her feminine, to do what she needs to do. So when we're talking about you being in your feminine, you're able to receive more, right? So we're receiving everything we want with ease when we're in our feminine energy. Why? Because the feminine is meant to receive. But a lot of times, receiving is vulnerable. Why?
Right.
Well, receiving is vulnerable because when you are receiving, you have no control.
Ooh, that's it right there.
So if I was to give you something, you have no control over that giving, right? And then what if you depend on it, and all of a sudden I take it away, and now you're all fucked up because you don't have it.
Discombobulated and shit.
And you were, and now you feel it's like when you're giving, you're in control.
Yes.
And so a lot of people have subconscious blockages around receiving. Now we're talking about everything, right? Receiving money, receiving success, receiving love, all of those things, because
thank you.
I can't depend on you. I can't rely on you. I can't trust you. I'm good. I'm good by myself.
I'll eat trash.
I don't need you to give me nothing. All right? I got me.
Why?
Because you're scared to rely on someone else, because people have proven unreliable in the past and untrustworthy and you know, unstable for you to lean on. So, and you were hurt, right? That wound is so deep, especially with people with abandonment issues like you and I do. You know, when
we gotta take a picture of that.
Abandonment issues. We're like the poster children for abandonment issues. When you have abandonment issues, the last thing you want to do is rely on someone else. The last thing you want to do is expect someone else to give you something. And so, you know, I made a post about this not too long ago. Giving is a defense mechanism. It can be manifested as a defense mechanism. You're constantly giving, you're constantly in control. And if you cannot receive, oh my God, this was a huge breakthrough for me couple of years ago, it's like how I don't ask for help,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't allow anybody to give me help. And it's now, me coming back into my feminine has been, really interesting, because when I go back to New York, right, which does not support women in being in their feminine at all.
No.
And I'm around my guy friends and I'm like, hey, can you like pump my gas for me, or can you like carry my luggage to the car? They're like, no. And I'm like, but you have to. I can't do it.
Nah, son.
Yeah, I was like, I'm in my feminine. Like, I can't. And
Right.
they're just, I really looked at my boy and I was like, really? Are you serious? He's like, nah, why would, I'm like, well, because it's late and there's homeless people around and like, you're not going to do it for me. I was like, and this is why women do not feel, because it's crazy. Like,
That's funny.
people will say like New York women are very abusive. Well, why do you think? Why do you think we're abusive, man? We've been through some shit, we had to fend for ourselves. We had to be tough. We had to be strong. We got to survive. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's so exhausting. So really what it comes down to is trust issues, right?
Right.
Like, our trust is built as children. This is like from 0 to 7 is when we are developing not only our personalities, our beliefs, our consciousness, right? Like we're like little sponges, and we're just like absorbing, we're absorbing the world, and
Right.
we're like, this is what it means, right? So when, for you, I know we've talked about this in other episodes with your father.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you have learned, I can't trust people.
Right. Not even your blood.
People are not going to be there when they say they're going to come,
Yeah.
right?
Even your blood. So I knew it wasn't going to be.
Right.
You're not in my blood. I know you're not going to do anything for me.
Yeah, so I don't trust you.
Right.
And same for me, right? I've been obviously not picked up when they said they were going to come get me. I've been abused and all those stuff. So it's like, I can't trust people. I can't trust the people that said they love me and are going to take care of me. How am I going to trust anybody else? And a lot of children have developed this lack of trust because of things that have happened in their childhood. So now as
100%.
adults, how that manifests is, I don't trust the world. I don't trust other people. I don't trust when people say they love me. I don't trust clients are going to pay me. I don't trust money's coming. I don't trust I'm always going to have food on the table. I don't trust that I'm going to survive. I don't trust shit, right? And so that creates this need to be in survival mode and operate in survival mode and be in stress and be in anxiousness and being controlling. We have to control the environment because we don't trust the environment.
Right.
Right?
100%.
It's insane. Okay, so going back to the masculine and feminine stuff really quick, because this was a huge, and I thought I had really worked on my femininity.
Mm-hmm.
I wear skirts all the time. You know what I mean? I wear pink now. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
When I came from New York, all I wore was black all the time,
right?
Now I got colors going on. I'm like, I'm in my feminine, right?
Nicer.
I was able to receive abundance, which was a huge part of my receiving, right? Like, I was poor my whole life, and because I didn't trust that I was ever going to be taken care of, I have to hustle for money, of course. Who's just going to give me money? Like, no, it's on me. It rides on me. And once I was able to open up myself to receive, abundance in all forms from the universe, I was like, oh, I'm receiving now. Oh, I must be in my femininity now, because look at me receiving, And then when I got into this relationship, I was like receiving, a lot. Like, he was very generous, and he was, taking me on trips and I was like, oh, look at me receiving.
Hey,
right?
Worthy.
He told me well, he lived far away, and so he told me like, oh, are you gonna drive? And I'm like, no, I can't drive. I'm in my feminine. Like, you gotta come get me. And he was like, all right, fuck it. He was with it. He's like, call me the Uber and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
Yeah, like really releasing control over to the masculine. But the note for women, you got to make sure you're releasing control to the right person, because you release control to a toxic masculine person, you're getting all fucked up, right? So
they know how to ruin your day at 8 a.m.
And so I was like, all right, I'm in my feminine, I'm receiving, I'm releasing control.
Mhm.
You know, I allow him to make decisions. I allow him to pick the place
That's
to
dope.
eat.
Respect.
I allow him to drive. I allow him to order the food. Like, and that, I mean, knowing me, like, yeah, that was huge for me.
Right.
Like, I'm like, I'm just
100%.
going to be in my feminine and be nurturing and supporting and
I
loving
love that.
role, right?
I love that.
But not to say that when I come into my business, I put on my masculine hat right away because it's my business and I'm going to manage it, you know? But, you know, I thought I was balancing it really well. And then it took a turn.
Oh.
It took a turn because he slipped and showed me that he was not able to keep me safe. Right there, you know, when we go back to caveman brain, right, where the female is looking for the masculine to find the cave, kill the buffalo, build the fire, keep me and the offspring safe, right? That's what our alligator brain wants. We want a provider. We want someone that's going to keep us safe. And you know, from obviously from the caveman days, that was more about physical safety. But now here we're really talking about emotional, mental, spiritual safety. And so, you know, he really showed me one day that he was not capable of keeping me emotionally safe, and that trust just completely crumbled, and it was, and then I saw the shift happen from within myself, from being in my feminine, of being like to being like back into my masculine, because I was like, oh my God, I'm not safe. I need to control this.
Yeah. You just say, hey, man.
And I went straight into I'm going to control the destiny of this relationship because I don't feel safe and I don't feel, you know what I mean? It just, the foundation cracked, and I tried to micromanage it to the point of destruction. I realized, I'm like, yeah, like, I'm very capable of being in my feminine, but the minute that I feel unsafe, I'm going to completely revert back into my masculine, because that is survival.
Facts. That's facts.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, well, not funny, because I find it wild. It's almost like we kind of go into the same timing with each other. I'm talking about everyone. You know, we're all going through this pandemic together.
Yeah. So
a lot of people are seeing themselves, their own toxic masculinity. Now I know what it means. I could use it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I notice a lot of women posting the memes about toxic masculinity, and
within
also
themselves?
women. Some, I think only you have, really.
I've admitted it.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't. I mean, they all like to point the finger. It's you guys, not us.
Right. And realizing it's a reflection.
Right. And I notice a rise in how many people are trying to work on themselves. I see a lot of people getting more into a holistic approach. Therapy. I see a lot of therapy, like on Instagram, because a lot of people are very revealing with their lives and being honest about having to go to therapy, having to go to a shaman, or
hiring coaches.
Hiring coaches. So that's like the new wave is keeping your energy clear and prosperous, you know.
Right. Developing yourself, right? Because you realize that, like, we cannot continue to operate in these toxic patterns and expect, you know, we can't continue to do the same thing and expect different results. And so, you know, a lot of the women that I work with, you know, their biggest struggles are with receiving money. And so when I go back into, you know, their childhood of like, when was it that you stopped trusting that you will be taken care of? And there's always some trauma there, whether it's with a parent or whether it's with a relationship or whether it's, you know, things that they can't even remember because it happened when they were so young, you know?
Right.
And we stop trusting that we are going to be taken care of. And, you know, I think if anything, this pandemic has really proven, you're alive, right?
Yep.
I'm alive. We made it.
Hey,
we made it, right?
Yeah.
You have a place to live?
Yep.
I got a place
Roof
to live.
over the head.
Yeah.
Food on the table.
We got food? Oh, you got a blanket?
I got a blanket.
Oh, shit.
I got a blanket.
So, you know, the fear that was really trying to be, like, pushed on us, right? Like, death, destruction, doom, and everybody's, like, in panic mode. Let's buy all the toilet paper and, like, freak out. You know what I mean? And then here we are, like, a year later, like, like we're okay.
Right. It wasn't that deep.
And so you can actually, so I think if anything, it's developed a lot more trust within people. Like, wait, I mean, like one of my friends has no job. He hasn't had a job in a year. And he's like, I don't even know like how, like I'm like still afloat right now. Right. And I'm like, isn't that cool? You know what I mean? It
always shows itself when you need it most. Right. Not when you want it.
Right.
It's right when you, like, look, now that you ain't stressing, now that you kind of said, whatever happens, happens. Now you can have it.
Right, because of the resistance and the energy.
You're knocking too hard.
Right, right.
I said I'm going to send it in the mail.
I said it's on the way.
I said it's on the way.
But that's the thing.
Is that 2 days? What's tracking number? I'm messing up with the universe, my bad.
Well, toxic masculinity is trying to be like, I need it now. Where is it? I said, you said it was on the way. I don't trust it. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna drive over there and I'm gonna pick it up myself because I don't trust that you're gonna send it. And then universe is like, we don't like this energy.
Yeah.
Okay. You're trying to control everything. You're not trusting me, and you've created a lot of resistance in your field. I want to deliver it to your door, but you got so much anxiety, tension, stress surrounding your house. I can't even get in.
Facts.
I can't even get in. And so maybe if you could relax into your feminine, sit on the couch, kick your feet up, put on a funny movie, relax, do a little meditation, do a little yoga, and release the resistance from your field. And trust me a little bit. Know that I'm going to have your back and I'm going to come through for you.
You're right.
I mean, it literally works every time. Yeah. And, it's so hard because I think struggling is... Oh, this is deep too. Struggling is part of some people's identity.
Yes.
It's so ingrained in us, and we think about like not only in our DNA, because if your parents struggled, they have programmed struggling within you, right? Because if your mother, right, you're in your mother's womb and you're feeling her stress, and also the stress from her ancestors, her mom before her and her parents before her, and then also your father, right? And you are the culmination of everybody's DNA is riding in you. And so I'm holding on to lack and scarcity programming from Thai people that have been in the rice fields back in Thailand that literally live on, in huts and dirt roads. And I get it. Survival mode was on and popping back then. And I'm the one reprogramming it for all my future generations in front of me. And that's why it's so important, because I will not allow my child to ever feel that contracted lack, scarcity, the fear, the survival, the non-trusting in their life.
Yes.
And because of that, my child is going to thrive. Then my child is going to have such a good relationship with money, have such a good relationship with themselves, with their environment, with the people that they meet, because they're not going to have that programming that's so deep in the subconscious, in the body. The body, remembers trauma. And it took, even when I really went deep into, reprogramming this. Ayahuasca, she was like, you let me know when you're ready to let go of all the things that no longer serve you, right?
I love that.
And there was a part of my ego or my identity that was like, I'm not ready to let go of it yet. Who am I?
Me, right?
Yeah. Who am I without my struggling? Who am I without my lack and scarcity? Who am I without this hustle? Who am I without this lack? This is part of who I am. If you take this from me, there's it's almost like this fear of this empty void of who will I be without it?
Right. Real shit.
And so when I finally was like, all right, I'm ready to let this go, it was during ayahuasca. Obviously, all my breakthroughs are through ayahuasca, but it was this crazy peeling. I felt it was pulling from my bones.
Ooh.
And it was painful as fuck. You know what I mean? I was like, ah, you know what I mean? And it was literally, yeah. And
that's real.
It was. And I was like, ah! And it was pulling from me. And it was crazy because then when I walked back into the room, I just felt this vacant space. I literally looked at my hand and I was
man.
And I was blinking my eyes and I was just I felt I had stepped into my body for the first time. Yeah. And it was without that heaviness, but also just this vacant space of who am I now?
Yes. Yes, that rebirth.
Right.
And continuing to change the narrative and change all the ways you look at stressful situations or triggers.
Right.
There's like non-existent.
Right.
I said this to my roommate the other day. I said, I feel like I'm in my new skin and my old skin's right over there, just standing there holding the bottle, got drugs on the face. And I'm just standing there because I just stepped out of it. I'm down with this.
Yes.
Because the only thing I could accomplish with that lifestyle is just darkness.
More of the same,
Yeah. And so I keep thinking of it and even imagining seeing my husk standing there with a bottle and like this.
Your husk. I can't.
I'm like this. Peace, my man. I'm growing and glowing.
Yeah,
thank you to ayahuasca.
Layers.
She showed me the way. She really did show me my purpose. She goes, you're going to be better. You're going to be married. You're going to have your kids. You're going to be healthy. You're going to be a vegan, and you're going to help others. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a personal trainer, vegan, holistic healer.
You try to start figuring out how.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Which
right.
is
And it was exactly. And now I feel like when I came out of Watchma. I apologize. That showed me how to live with that feminine energy that I've been trying to push away. I've been trying to choose masculinity because I thought that meant I was more of a man.
Or stronger,
yeah. Right. So it was great to have both of those ceremonies because they healed me in different ways. So now I am saying my price, my worth. When it comes to my business and people are not responding. And then there's others that are immediately. And they're like, oh yeah, we're doing it right now. I was like, oh.
And do you trust that the people that are in alignment with you and that price and that service and that value are going to find you?
Oh, 1,000% now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And you're able to receive it.
Yes. Oh yeah. I definitely am receiving things. I'm like, okay, I'm worthy. Because I keep wanting to say no. But that's just me, like, naturally, like, not wanting to be dependent on anything. So now I'm like, yes, I'm worthy of receiving. Thank you.
Worthy of receiving.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. And you know what's funny is that Wachuma, so San Pedro is the ceremony that he's talking about. So it's a cactus medicine, and it's a masculine medicine. So for you to have taken a masculine medicine, but for that to reunite you with your feminine is actually very ironic. And, when we go back into what you were just saying, like you were trying to figure out how. Trying to figure out how is very controlling, which is masculine, right? You're trying to figure out how because you don't trust that the how is figured out for you.
Right.
And that's another aspect of coming into your feminine. I'm going to trust that we're going to get there, and I'm going to co-create with the universe and trust that the how is going to form in and around me, and I'm going to be swept up and carried there like the divine feminine being that I am. Carry me. That's actually one of my prayers in the morning. I say, God, carry me. Carry me through this darkness.
I love that.
So going back to the business, so it was crazy. So back in October when I was with this dude, I had the thought, I'm like, I want to do a retreat in March.
That's right.
And, since he's very toxic, he's like, all right, let's do it. Where's the place? So it starts going into and I was like, I don't work like that.
Right.
I was like, and then it's almost like he was looking at me like I was lazy because I wasn't taking masculine action right then and there. Yep. And I was like, no. I go, the way that it's going to come into form is going to be perfect. And I trust that all the supporting elements are going to find me. And it's going to, come together with ease. With ease in my feminine space.
Tap into that feminine energy.
Right. And receive the solution. Receive the solution, right? And so January came around, still hadn't done anything. And I was in meditation and I was like, you going to do this retreat? Are you going to do the retreat? I'm like, I'm going to do the retreat. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of work right now. I got a lot on my plate. I'm not in a good space. Maybe. And it just kept knocking. Like, send the email. Do the email. Send the retreat. I'm like, okay, listen. All right, fine. I'm going to put it out. Had zero zero, nothing organized. But I was like, I'm going to put it out. And if I get a response, then we'll go forward with it. If nobody is interested, we're going to scrap it. And you guys are going to leave me alone, right? And so I put it out literally within 24 hours of putting it out. I had 5 spots filled. And then by the end of the week, within like 2 or 3 days, all the supporting elements. I mean, I had the house, I had the chef, I had the shaman, I had all the healers that were coming in. And it was just like, I had the day. It was like so effortless. Everything found me.
Beautiful.
Everything found me. And now the retreat is full. I literally haven't really done much, but I allowed it.
Yes.
to come into form because I wasn't focused on the how.
Right.
I wasn't trying to micromanage or trying to control or stressing about the details because I had put a retreat together last year and I was totally in my toxic masculine energy. I was stressed out and I was like, do you want to come? Do you not want to come? Is it okay? You know what I mean? Like, I was just like...
That would be me. All right, it's canceled. It's canceled.
And I was just freaking out. And now I'm just like, you want to come? No? Okay, cool.
See,
because I trust I'm in my feminine that I'm going to receive the perfect people that are meant to be there, and all the supportive elements are going to come together, and everything is going to be beautiful and harmonious. And it has. And even the way that it came together before my eyes, I was even a little surprised. I'm like, whoa, okay.
That was me. That was us.
I was just like, all right. So then I'm also I want to apply this principle to other aspects of my business. So the way that I've been kind of doing things now is that I just write down what it is that I want to manifest, and then I just kind of give it up to God, and I say, I trust that the path of least resistance to the highest reward, and that you're going to bring me there, and I'm going to remain in my feminine energy and focus on my nourishment and focus on keeping my vibration high and focus on taking care of my first business. And I trust that when it's time for me to take action, I will know when, I will be urged, I will be intuitively called, and when it's time for me to sit back and allow the action to happen around me, I will also trust and relax into that as well. And boom. Within quarter 1 of 2021, I think I'm doing pretty good.
The universe speaks to the special few, that's been tapped in. So you're a source. I love it. You're a source of info. You're a source of knowledge and new ways of getting through traumas and breaking through and working with the shadow work, as they call it.
Yeah.
So, you've done a lot for me. I've been plugged in since day one.
Yes, you have.
So, I'm just like, oh, what's she doing today? I'm going to go outside and do that too. I'm going to look at the sun.
I think...
You got the recipe.
It's
really...
The recipe has always been there, but I'm allowing myself... I'm peeling back my eyes to see it, right? The awareness, the shadow work helps because we have to see ourselves. Where am I operating out of alignment with source? Where am I operating out of alignment with nature? When we really think about nature, is there ever lack in nature? Is there ever, nothing ever really forces to try and grow and blossom. They just need the right environment to do so. So for you, I think what you need, like we said before, you need a vacation.
Yes. I want to go to Tulum, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you need to take a break. Sometimes taking a step back from the business is productive for the business. Okay. You know what I mean? Cool. To go take care of mind, body, and spirit. Well, you're going to come to the retreat. So you're
that's right. Yeah.
You're going to get a whole, you're going to be nourished from inside out.
I love that. I'm so excited for that.
I'm excited for it too. Let's do some goal setting right now. And here's the thing. Set the goal and then let it go.
Okay.
And don't worry about the how. I did this in December. My financial advisor, she said, okay, starting January 2021, I want you to write down 15 to 20K months. And I was like, I'm barely working right now. Right. I'm going through a breakup. I'm barely showing up for my business. I'm not launching anything. I have no idea how that's going to happen, but whatever. I wrote it down. We're in February going into March. I have hit that mark every single month and effortlessly.
Beautiful.
So I was like, bitch, okay, what else am I going to write down? Shit, okay, I'm about to write down. So I wrote down 500K years and out of debt by the end of this year, and just start setting some goals for like houses and partners that I'm looking to attract, and business goals, hiring a virtual assistant, having my website done, all those things. And I'm just gonna like put it out there. I just write it down, and then I just being like, bring me. I'm gonna allow myself to receive the solution.
Right.
Thank
you.
Yes,
I love that. I love that.
And being in joy while I'm waiting. Right. Okay. So what are you gonna do?
Oh man. I mean, honestly, I like how you're saying you need to write these things down, because that's one thing that I've been lacking. Is writing my what I want to receive from the universe. Mm-hmm. I myself want to continue on doing these meditation Wednesdays at 1835. It's a creative studio space that have allowed me to, I guess, flourish in the holistic community. And all thanks to you, obviously. Yes. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't know how to talk to these folks.
Omar has been leading guided meditation groups, and it has allowed you to tap into your throat chakra, right? Open up your crown to receive divine light that channels through into healing and for other people.
Beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
And I honestly, my goals are to hit like 10K a month. Yeah. Yes. And with the studio opening up next week, as long as my painter's there now painting, I should be able to move in. Yeah. So March. I
felt some resistance there, as if you don't trust that the painter is there.
I mean, you better be there.
That's what I'm talking
Southeast.
about.
I found holistics, but I'm still hood.
This is what I'm talking about. You know the painter is there.
Yeah.
Okay, trust that regardless of whether he's there or not, it's gonna be the studio is gonna be done in time.
So I mean, when that happens, we're gonna be. It'll be a way for me to openly receive all that I've been wanting.
More abundance.
Yes.
More success.
Yes.
More thriving, more flourishing, more sharing of your gifts in the world.
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely. So yes, I mean, whatever it is that you want, make sure you write it down. Make sure that you do the work around your resistance, your limiting beliefs around receiving, and then obviously looking into doing some work, whether it's with a therapist or with a coach, to go within and say, okay, and start to reprogram it in your subconscious. When was it that I lost trust? When was it did I start to feel I need to control everything? And when was I in a place that I felt I needed to survive? Right? Because a lot of times it's situations that are so minuscule, and I do this meditation with my clients. When we go back, to that one moment that really changed them, it's something so small of like being made fun of on the playground. Right. Having people that they looked up to, say mean things to them.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Or somebody that told them they were stupid one time.
Yeah.
Or they were,
oh my God.
You know what I mean? Or that they were incapable. And like, a lot of times, obviously, with our caretakers, our parent figures, they're so, we're so impressionable at that time. They don't know the impact of what that does to a child, and then how that manifests as an adult. Obviously, some of my other clients, when they actually lost parents, what that triggered for them was, I can't trust the universe and not taking my parent, and so those things are so deep. And so to really work, that's why I talk about the inner work so much, because the inner work is what's going to help release all of your resistance to receiving everything that you deserve, because you deserve all of it. There's nothing in this world that is too much to ask for.
You're right. Yeah. And I'm learning that every day. I'm like, yo, I get this opportunity. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, wait, me? Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Yes, I'm down. Let's go. I didn't know it was that easy.
And that inner child that's within you that gets reaffirmed with his worthiness every single time.
Right.
And it grows.
I'm starting to believe what people believe.
Yes. Start to see yourself the way we see you, King. Why did it take you so long?
It took me a minute. I mean, because I honestly didn't think I needed it.
You thought you were good on your own?
I thought I was good on my own.
That's
I really didn't want no help.
Masculinity right there.
Yep.
Like, I got it. I'm good. I don't need no help. You know what's funny is that reminds me of like when I was dating that guy. Like, he was such in his toxic masculinity that I tried to like even like help him, like give him advice on like skincare, and he was like, "Well, what if I don't need it?" I'm like, "You're above moisturizing, bro." Like, you know. And I'm like, I'm a coach. Like, you get like if you get to hang around me, you get free coaching all day. And a lot of times it'd be like, "But I think I know that already," and I'm like, "But do you though? Why your life look like that then, right?" And that's that toxic masculinity, to think that like, I'm good, I got me on my own. But like really understanding like it takes honesty with yourself to 100%. Be like, you know, and to feel that vulnerability, which to some people vulnerability is like death, right? To feel vulnerable enough to be like, you know what, I could use some help. I can use some support. I was telling my friend earlier, I'm like, no one is above therapy. No one is above integration. Like, I go to a therapist, right? Like, you know, no one is above needing help to really untangle, you know, the things that we go through that have really maybe fucked us up, that have really stopped us from believing in ourselves or just creating the life that we want. Like, if you're looking around in your life and you're like, you know, I don't like the relationships that I have, you know, experienced. I don't like the way my finances look or my career looks or how I'm just showing up for myself, right? Like, I don't like that I have to go out and have a drink, do drugs, you know, find new people to have sex with, or, you know, continually be on the move because I can't sit still with myself. And being honest with yourself, you know, maybe I could use some help.
Yes, 100%. And that's the best part of growth, is that I'm now asking for help.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. It doesn't make you less of a man or less of a woman or a person that knows how to handle shit.
Yeah. I think a lot of times vulnerability is seen as being weak, right? Asking for help means you're incapable, and that's that toxic masculinity we're talking about. So really coming into receiving assistance, right? Receiving love and support, receiving help to really be the best version of yourself and to really create the life that you've always envisioned without all of that stuff that's that gunk, you know, that's holding you back. And so, you know, I hope you guys were able to get a lot of insight into your own journey, into what you're working through, and everything that is going to really bring us back to this wholeness, this balance, you know, as a society of being balanced in our feminine and masculine energy. Because, and I think it's really already happening, you know, we just got into the age of Aquarius, and, you know, we're moving. I can feel it. I can feel the shifts.
I feel it too.
Yeah. So, you know, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of the Urban Indigo Podcast. I'm your host, Diana Min. I promise to show up more often because, you know, this is as much medicine for me as it hopefully is for all of you. You can follow me on Instagram at the Urban Indigo, where I'll be sharing as much light as possible with you all.
And you can follow me at Black Wolf Media. And once again, I'm Omar Hamilton.
Awesome. Have a beautiful time. Namaste. We love you.